because even though I made a bunch of videos about like Apple's new parental controls, or I was like, here's how to protect your kids and here's how to add parental controls and parental monitoring, it is not going to fully protect your kids online. It's like a tool that you can use to add a little bit of more safety, but it's not like, oh wow, you added parental controls, you added parental monitoring, like that's it, your job is done. You had like the sit down talk about the internet and internet safety, and that is all you need to do. Now, I wish that was the case, because if that was the case, that would make things much more easier, right? But there are a couple of things that you want to be aware of when it comes to parental controls and parental monitoring. Number one, it's a tool, it's a tech. It will break, okay? It will break. Things, people will go around it, your kids will go around it. There are a bunch of videos on YouTube and the like and the internet about how to get around screen time. Like there, I just saw a video today about like if you have screen time limits on like how long you can chat with friends or whatever, especially messages, kids are using the notifications they receive on their like their phone to click on that notification and then send a text back and forth to their friends, right? There's always a way around it, right? If you are trying to avoid your kids talking to strangers online, and let's just say you turn off the chat on Roblox, right? Or you turn off the chat on all the other apps that they're on. And then they figure out how to communicate with their friends via like a Google Doc, right? Or someone that they met via Google Doc. Think of the circumstance with Spotify, where somebody was contacted by a predator on Spotify. And now you're just thinking, most of us are thinking, what do you mean? Like, what the hell, right? What the heliante? That's like the new thing to say. Anyways, whatever. It's from a song that I think is like going viral online or whatever. But anyways, how is someone able to communicate with someone through Snapchat? Well, if you think, not Snapchat, through Spotify. If you think about how Spotify works, if you've been on the app, there are a couple of things that you can do when you're uploading playlists, right? So you can create your own cover art, right? You can create your own name of the playlist, and you can create your own description that can be used to contact people. So if you're an artist, you might be putting out your song, you might put album cover, or you might make a playlist of your favorite songs and promote some of your songs inside that playlist. You can say in the description of that playlist, hey, go follow me on Snapchat, or go follow me here, or email me here, message me here. And that's what they were doing. They're saying, hey, like if you're really interested in this, or if you want free Robux, or if you want this, or whatever it is, like message me here. My username is this on this particular app. And that is how they're contacting kids. And they may be like, message me on Snapchat or whatever. There's my little mic, my mic on my things showing, right? So that is how people are getting around parental controls, getting around you deciding, hey, like, there can be no chat, right? Hi, welcome in. Let me know what questions you have. So this is why I'm like a big believer in that parental controls are not enough to protect your kids online. Another thing is that your relationship with your kids has to matter way more than anything else. The reason being is you do not want your kids to be hiding everything from you. When I was a kid, let me know if you grew up with technology, and what technology you grew up with. When I was a kid, I hid everything that I was doing from my parents, right? And the reason why I hid it was because I felt like I could not trust my parents. Even though they were like, oh, you can tell me anything and everything that goes on. Like I won't, they didn't even say I won't judge you. Just like, you can talk to me or whatever. I didn't talk to them. Like I never did. And the reason I didn't was because like gaming, being in chat rooms, hi CYT, hey NRA, مرحبا بكلم عربي, but if you speak Arabic, you can say something in chat. I don't know if I can read it as quickly, but anyways, let me know if you grew up with technology in the chat, and what games you played as a kid. Were you on AOL? Were you on Roblox? Were you on Minecraft? Were you on, I don't know, like Yahoo Chat, Reddit? Like what apps did you use as a kid, as a teen, and what you're doing now as an adult? If you felt comfortable talking to your parents, or you feel comfortable talking to your parents, depending on how old you are, let me know in the chat, because I know that I absolutely did not. And one of the biggest reasons why I did not talk to my parents was because I did not want them to take away my devices, like my games, my forums, the chats that I was having with my friends, right? That was my main source of communication with other people that outside of school, outside of visiting my friends in the weekend, right? When I came home, I wanted to be able to just, like just relax, right? One of my favorite things to do was play mobile games. I kind of call them like the pay to win games, where like only the people that were paying the game actually could win the game. And when I was in these games, one of the main ways to like have a good time was to communicate with other people, right? I'm glad that you talked to them. That's good. That's really good. because I did it. And I was very sneaky. And that's why I'm doing the work that I'm doing today. When I was communicating with people in the games, one of the main reasons why I love those games was because a bunch of people can come together and we can figure out how to win the game based off of communication, right? You said I'm practicing at home doing something important stuff, my games to focus. Oh, good. We love that. We like that. I love that. But that was one of the reasons why I loved it is because I can communicate with other people. We can have fun together and we can win a game, right? And when my parents were telling me like, hey, don't talk to strangers online, the reason why I felt that was like just a little bit weird was because in order to play the games that I loved, I needed to or wanted to at sometimes, but needed to at other times needed to communicate with other people. And so when I started communicating with people via the games and they did not know that, I didn't want to tell them that because I felt like they would not understand why I was communicating with other people and then they would take the games away. And so and when any parental controls were enabled, right? I didn't have a lot, but I had some. I went around them. I hid my apps. I remember there was like a moment, even though my mom does not remember this, she ended up taking my phone and she was like, she said she's gonna keep it or she was checking it or something. She very rarely did it, but she did it once. And I remember like deleting all of the apps that I had and like hiding them. And so that when she checked the phone, it wasn't there. And thankfully, she didn't see anything, right? And that's why I always say that parental monitoring and parental controls are not enough because when there is a will, there is a way. If you want to get around something, you're going to get around something. Like, think about when you were a kid, if you really wanted something, like, for instance, I'm sure we all had the experience where there was a cake in the house and you wanted a slice of the cake, but you didn't want anyone to know you had a slice of the cake. You took like the thinnest slice of the cake. You went downstairs when everyone was sleeping and did that. That's what I did with the internet. Hey, Galaxy Attack. You said I played Geometry Dash because my favorite game, I focus, learn transportation. Ooh, okay. Yes. I do remember playing some educational games as a kid. I was playing like some of those like intelligent games or something, like your intelligence. Like, I don't know. I don't remember. It was like things to help you with that. I those were fun, but what really, really, really stuck was like MOBA, like massive games where everyone was playing together. You had like groups of people, you would do like called dungeon runs or stuff like that. Those were the games that like kind of stuck with me. So right now I'm like obsessed with League of Legends. I've been playing League of Legends for a very long time. I think I've been playing League of Legends for I don't even know. I have to really check. I think it's 2017. It's not very very long, but it's kind of long. And then Marvel Rivals came out earlier this year, and I've been playing that. Right, so I'm still a gamer until today. Like even though I work in this field with like internet safety and protecting kids online, I think it gives me a more of a bigger understanding of what's happening, especially since I've been a gamer for a very long time. I think it's been 15 years. I think I've been a gamer for 15 years now. Yeah. And so I started off with the mobile games and then I went on to like computer games and I communicated with so many online strangers. And one of my favorite things is to communicate with, well, when I was a kid, was people that had the very similar interests of me, right? And I've had these friends for a very, very long time. And so when I talk to parents and I'm talking to you, I always say that your kids' communications online is bigger than just like a moment. Sometimes that can be a friendship that lasts many years. And I remember a couple of years ago, I met a parent who who found out that her kid was talking to some other kid supposedly, right, that they met in an online game, and they were forming a friendship that was really deep. And so she didn't want to communicate, she didn't want to cut off any of the communication that her kid was having with this other kid, but she wanted to make sure that that person on the other end of the screen was actually a child and not a predator, right? And so what she did was she got on the game and she put on the headset, and the mic, kind of like what I have right here, the headset of the mic, and she was just like, okay, little Johnny, you say that you're like 15 years old and my kid is 15 years old. Are you actually 50 years old? She did things like that. And little Johnny responded in a little kid's voice. And she was like, you know what? That feels like a little kid. I want to talk to your parents. Are your parents around? And the parents were in the background and the parents got on the headset and started communicating with this parent. And they were like, yeah, actually, yeah, my kid actually is 14 years old and their name is actually Johnny, which should they be putting their real kid's name? Their kids should be saying their name in the game. Maybe not, but whatever. This is the story. And it ended up being like, hey, this sounds like it's legit. So after the video call, or not video call, but the voice call that they did in the headset, they ended up meeting via Skype, I think. I don't think Zoom is even out then. So they ended up meeting on video via Skype, both of the parents on the other screen. And they realized that they lived maybe like 30 minutes away from each other. I don't remember. Like it was less than 2 hours away from each other. And they ended up meeting. And this formed a friendship that has lasted for a very long time between both of the families, but also the kids. So that's one way to approach it, is that even if you have parental monitoring, even if you are having parental controls, you still have to engage with what your kid is doing online, asking them questions, understanding what is going on, and then making sure their environment is safe, and then making sure they know that you are a safe space. Because if that didn't happen, it's harder for the kid to open up to talk about what are they doing online, and what they're frustrated about, and what is going on, and what has made them feel uncomfortable this week or this day, right? So it's so important that kids have a space where they know that, hey, my parent, my caretaker, the adult, the trusted adult in my life is going to be on my side. They may not agree with everything that I do. They may not understand it. They may not know it. You don't actually even need to know it. You just need to be there with them and be open and be non-judgmental and non-shameful. That is so important to keeping kids safe online, like extraordinarily important. So if you want your kids to actually listen to you, then you have to make them understand why it's important for them in their life based off of what they want to do or not do in their life. That's number one. If you want your kids to not talk to strangers online, especially when they're like really when they're young, right? You just turn off the features in general and you explain why you turn it off. So you can give like an analogy of like, hey, I wouldn't let you go to the park by yourself at this age, so I can't let you go online by yourself at this age. But once they start getting older, preteen years, so 12, 11, 12, 13, this is when some of the parental controls are going to have to change because now they're getting older, right? So some things have to be a little bit more relaxed, but you know your child more like better than anyone else, right? um you said, and the reason because smart transportation information credits nice safe games. That's why I smart everything at all. Okay, that's good. That's really good. Yeah. So the reason why you do this is so that your child understands that you are on their side, right? And that they understand that they can come to you and talk to you about anything and everything. And then when it comes to parental controls, you don't, one thing I always say is that there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube about how to enable parental controls, right? Things will change. Apple released some updates. You can go check it out. I posted a couple of videos, a couple of shorts on Apple's parental control changes. Most likely you'll get a notification, and anytime you want to see like what has changed, you can always go to settings and communication limits. Just go to your settings inside the app. You'll see different parental control options, right? If you're like, hey, I need help setting it up, I don't know how to do it, like it's too much. If you're in the United States of America, there is a Best Buy has Geek Squad. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with Geek Squad. If you're not familiar with Geek Squad is amazing. Go Google them and see if there is a Geek Squad near you and call them and say, hey, I have this device. Can you help me set up parental controls on a smart TV? If you have an internet service provider, which most likely you do because you're here, unless you're like on McDonald's Wi-Fi or something, and you can call them up and you can say, hey, I have internet with you. This is, I've been a customer for this long. I have 3 kids and here are the devices I have. Like, how do I add parental controls on the Wi-Fi, right? And they will help you out. So you have Geek Squad. You have, I think it's like $50 an hour or something. Don't quote me on it, but you can go to their website. They can help you remotely and in person. And then you can call out your internet service provider if you need help with that. If you have any questions to protect your kids online, please let me know. I'm Cyber Farida. I am an award-winning Forbes 30 under 30 internet safety expert. And my main mission here is to help you protect your kids online. So make sure you're subscribing for more. Bye.